Hello, welcome back to the channel. I'm just on the Wendover Arm of the Grand Union Canal. This is where I left you on my first video, so this is the second part of the Wendover video. I'm into phase one. So phase one was the first 1.3 miles from Baldwin Junction to Little Tring Farm, which needed a refurb of the stop block and of a winding hole. So Little Tring road bridge was reinstated. That's just ahead of me now in 2001 at a cost of £223,000. It's actually a reinforced concrete bridge, but they've lined it with bricks to make it look more traditional. Good way to do it. It looks very good. So interest in the canal arm came in 1967 when the Inland Waterways Association held a public meeting in Watford to debate the future of the Grand Union Canal. In the February, the Grand Union Canal Society was formed, and later began campaigning to open the Wendover Arm, which was initially failed. But by 1985, there was enough interest that a separate Wendover Arm group was formed. In 1989, the Wendover Arm Trust was formed, and in 1990, Department of Transport announced that the Aston Clinton Bypass would include a culvert. So while the bridge was being built, restoration of the first quarter of a mile of canal began. So you can see there's concrete walls on the sides here. That was down to the local authority, British Waterways. The walls were completed in 2004 and the bed lined. And the rewatering took place in February 2005. March 2005 saw the first boats to go through the stop block and under the bridge behind me. The provision at the end of this section was an 80-foot winding hole, which I'm just coming up to now. So this allows the boats to turn around. So a 70-foot boat can easily turn wide beams, and there's plenty of room up here, which they didn't have before. Before this bit was completed, they could only have 30-foot boats really down here. Like I said, they reckon they could turn a 45, but it was very tight. So this is the next section now, which we're going over through the rest of this video. So this was the tip basically. They found a lot of noxious material in here, which had to be dug out. And as you can see, work has started, and the first section is dug. So the total cost of this was £400,340. £223,000 of that was the bridge.
We're using Rail Maps Online again today to show you where we are. So huge thanks to Matthew Bromley for allowing us to use his website, and huge thanks to Chris Lowe who designed the canal side of it. You'll see my first part of the video took us here on the Wendover arm off the Grand Union, which is this canal here. The second part of this, we're going to go from basically that green dot there on the bridge, and we're going to follow along the restoration up to the A41 to see what's happening. It's very windy today, so I hope my wind thing on my camera is working. So you can't really see too much of the section that's being dug out at the moment. I've managed to get my drone across the fields. Unfortunately, this area is right on a sort of flight path for an airfield, so none of this section now I can run a drone on. I've managed to go across the field slightly, which is just outside the flight path, and kind of zoom in, so you can kind of see above what's going on. But that's as good as you'll ever get drone footage unless someone can get permission from the airfield to fly here. So you can see there's a lot of work going on here. So this is phase two, from the winding hole up through to the culvert on the bypass on the, I think it's the A41. It's about 1.75 miles.
from Little Tring to Drayton Beauchamp. There's large sections of it already dug. So here we go, here's the line coming up now, it's been dug. So there were plans to dig out previously, and funding was requested, but due to the fact they found hazardous material, which was unfortunately quite common back then, farmers used to backfill, and councils used to use them as rubbish tips and overfill them, especially tunnels and stuff. Yeah, they withdrew from the funding previously, but lots of work was done here. Phase 1 was completed. And this next section dug, so funding was found. Still, Dacorum Borough Council gave a grant of 135,000, and Tring Council gave 20,000. So also just here you can see is Willstone Reservoir. I talk about that in the first part of this quite a bit, so I won't say too much about it now. It's quite a large reservoir. It was one of the feeders to the canal. So you can see here how they're doing the banks. This is done all the way. So this section can't take wide beams now. The first section can, it's restored and currently in water. This section can't, unfortunately. It's they've reprofiled the canal to be better for nature. So instead of sort of straight sides where you've got mooring all the way down, you've got slope banks, which is much better for wildlife. There are sections cut out for mooring, but it's not along the whole canal. One of the issues the Trust had when restoring was footpaths. So bridges had to be built to basically divert a footpath, like this one here. This bridge is covered in plaques. So this is a site of Whitehouses pumping station, and the stop block up there was installed to close things off. So the canal was originally going to just be like a feeder stream, but there was very little difference in the cost of actually turning it into a navigable canal. So it was built as such when it was first opened. Now they soon found out they didn't have enough water, so which is why the reservoirs that you've seen in the video and in part 1 of this were built originally to feed the canal. They were built and they were extended and stuff, but this is the site of the original pumping station, which was eventually demolished when the pumping station further up the canal was done and had better engines and stuff like that in it. So what they do when they're doing this is they profile the banks, dig the line back out, profile the banks, and they line the banks, the angled banks with bento mat. That's all along. You can't see that's below. And then on top of that, they put the bricks at an angle, and then they put like a core matting, kind of like similar to what you get on your front door and stuff. And then on top of that, this uses basically to put soil and stuff. So it's a natural bank again, rather than being like a brick built or concrete bank. This is all planned to seal things up. Like I said, this was quite a leaky section originally. got a little drain there which runs into the line that's being restored up there. It's not full. As soon as that's all dug and lined, I guess that's ready to go. This is about a quarter of a mile of waterway up here that's full. It was filled November 2021. So there's only about half a mile of section that's not in water for phase 2 now, which is from the winding hole up to here, basically up to this bridge behind me. Most of it, as you can see, is already profiled and sealed and stuff, and they're just digging out the tip now. So as I mentioned, there's sections here that are up for mooring. You can see on the ends of these where it's angled into that angled bank. So this allows boats to still park up along here and cruise up here. You know, there's no point having a canal if no one can moor anywhere. Just to get a couple of boats in, maybe 3, but allows that nature bank there. Look, as you can see as it comes across, you can already see where things are going into the canal there, so it's doing its job. See the old there's an old waiting wall across the back there. Well, not a waiting wall, but brick wall. Probably is a waiting wall. You can only get one barge down here at a time. It's literally profiled at an angle here. Points for stop gates. Ducks nesting on the angled banks. That's what it's for. So we're just approaching the A41 bypass. So the original plans for the road were a dual low-level carriageway, which would have completely hold restoration. There was no way they could get under that. It was way too low. Would have killed this arm completely. And some negotiations with the highway agency resulted in funding for the canal to be diverted, which is where I believe I am now. So I think that was the original line through here. And then so it's redug, and up ahead now we have the new bridge. You can see how the road's angling down here. So yeah, further along into that section there, it just wouldn't have been possible to carry on with that route. So Saxon Way Bridge, opened October 2003. Burial site of Saxon Princess was discovered nearby in 2001. Just gonna have a little walk up here. It's like I said, the canal was diverted, so on this new route. The original plan was for the highways agency to run a pipe to take drainage away. The canal rightly argued there wouldn't be enough, so what was done, the old line was converted into like a reed bed, which now takes a runoff from the road. And the reed bed's there, so it basically filters it. If you ever work in or go to a sewage treatment works, to get the clarity of the water right down, the best method of doing it isn't by using a machine, you know, using a big appliance. It's by having a big reed bed. So I worked on sewage treatment works for about 1.5 years during the recession. A good friend of mine got me a job down there. And yeah, you take the water, samples out the water after and before, and the difference is amazing. It will be crystal clear, the water coming out into the streams and rivers. So that drainage ditch there will do 2 things. It will provide the canal with a source of water, which is always important on canals, as all these reservoirs and stuff show down here. it'll provide drain off for the road as well, and it'll provide clean water for the canal. So yeah, it's a win-win for everyone really. So here we are at the other end of this reed bed. You can see they've got an overflow and a paddle here to open this up as well. So this provides, like I say, an area for cleaning the water off the road, provides a water source. Look at this, this is perfect. There'll be loads of stuff living in here, making use of it. You can see here where the line cuts across. So it'll be a bit of a winding hole here. The line's directly down there. You can see a bridge just down there. And then we'll run across to the road there. And the new route is cut through and comes off at an angle here.
Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe, click that bell button to hear my future videos. Also check out the description and you'll see links to the Wendover Canal Trust. Have a look on their website, join up with them. It's a massive help to all the trusts when you do so. Thank you, have a good day.